On June 30th, my sister decided to make the only correct choices in episode 1 of season 1 of the Walking Dead games, and for that her face will be mutilated further than necessary. I also recall a video by Living Echoes on YouTube, Best of Lee and Clementine Definitive Edition. It was a compilation, and he decided to kill Larry in front of Clementine, and then I later learned he decided to kill the St. John's in front of Clementine. I am the chosen one, chosen by Clementine. I am guided, as Christians are guided by Jesus Christ, and there will be no more killings of Larrys in front of Clementine, no more killings of St. John's in front of Clementine, and overall Clementine's content will be preserved, maximised. That's the message I want to give out.
Has admitted murdering his mother, younger brother and sister at their home near Luton. Police said 19-year-old Nicholas Prosper was also planning to carry out a school shooting. Well, Martha Fairley is at Luton Crown Court. An extraordinary and horrific case this. Martha, what on earth is the background to it?
In the early hours of September 13, 2024, a quiet neighborhood in Luton was shattered by a tragedy that would leave the community reeling. Juliana Falcon, a 48-year-old mother, and her two children, 16-year-old Kyle and 13-year-old Giselle, were found lifeless in their home, victims of a cold-blooded attack. Who could have hurt this beautiful family? What did they do to deserve this brutal attack? What was the motive of the killer? Follow us in this heartbreaking story as we walk you through the shocking details. We will talk about the family, the surviving father and the perpetrator of these gruesome murders that investigators call the most appalling killings of our time. Welcome to Mind-Blowing True Crime. Please subscribe to our channel for more intriguing videos like this. Hit the notification bell. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. Please watch to the end to hear the shocking details of this case. Watch out for the reason the criminal gave for these senseless killings in the coverage. This isn't just another murder case. The story you're about to hear delves into a chilling web of secrets, violence, and unthinkable motives. Stay tuned to uncover the disturbing details of a young man's descent into darkness and the devastating impact on an entire community. Follow us to Luton, a large town located in Bedfordshire, England, just 30 miles north of London. Luton's environment offers a mix of urban and rural, with easy access to both city life and natural beauty. When compared to similar areas, Luton exhibits a lower overall crime rate. In the year ending September 2024, Luton had a crime rate of 92.27 per 1,000 residents, which is below the average of 106.29 for comparable areas. This is the city where the unimaginable happened.
And horrific case this. Martha, what on earth is the background to it?
Well, Nicholas Prosper had been due to go on trial here next week, but today the 19-year-old pleaded guilty to 3 counts of murder, admitting that he shot dead his mother, 48-year-old Juliana Faulkner, and his 2 teenage siblings, Kyle Prosper, who was 16, and 13-year-old Giselle Prosper. Their bodies were found at the family home by police on September the 13th last year after reports of a disturbance. Later that morning, Bedfordshire police stopped Nicholas Prosper on a road not far from the murder scene. A loaded shotgun was found hidden in bushes nearby, as well as a bag containing more than 30 cartridges. But during the course of their investigations that followed, police were shocked to discover that Prosper had also been planning an attack on a local school, St Joseph's Catholic Primary, where he and his brother and sister had all been pupils.
Juliana, Kyle and Giselle were brutally murdered in their home by someone who was intent on causing the maximum harm and distress to his own family and the wider community in Luton. Investigators discovered an intention by the perpetrator to target a specific primary school in Luton.
Well, a short time ago, the school's head teacher released a statement saying, "We were very shocked to learn that St Joseph's was an intended target in this incident. However, we would like to reassure our parents and carers that there is no threat to the school. We have robust systems in place to keep children safe at school at all times." Now, Prosper also admitted a number of other offences, including purchasing a shotgun without a certificate, possession of a shotgun with intent to endanger life, and possession of a kitchen knife in a public place. He has been remanded in custody and will be sentenced.
The perpetrator, 19-year-old Nicholas Prosper, not only ended the lives of his own family but also harbored plans for a far more devastating act. Authorities uncovered his intention to carry out a shooting at his former primary school, St Joseph's Catholic Primary School in Luton. Fortunately, his plans were thwarted before he could execute them. Nicholas Prosper's actions have left a trail of questions and horror. What drove him to commit such atrocities? And how did he plan to carry out his intended school attack? Join us as we unravel the disturbing truths behind this tragic event. Nicholas Prosper, the 19-year-old son of Juliana and the older brother to Kyle and Giselle, was no stranger to the darker side of life. But no one could have foreseen what he would soon do. Born on June 4, 2005, in Mar del Plata, Buenos Aires province, Argentina, Nicholas moved to England with his family at a young age. Growing up in Luton, he attended St Joseph's Catholic Primary School, where he and his siblings were cherished members of the school community. Teachers and staff remember him as a student who, despite his quiet demeanor, showed potential and promise. As Nicholas entered his teenage years, subtle changes in his behavior began to surface. He became increasingly withdrawn, spending more time online and less with his family and friends. His social media profiles, once filled with typical teenage content, started to reflect a darker side. He shared violent and depraved views, leading to his ban from a notorious gore website where viewers watch people die. Nicholas's online activity was not just a phase, it was a deep-seated obsession. He frequently engaged with communities that glorified violence and death, immersing himself in content that desensitized him to human suffering. This digital descent into darkness was a stark contrast to the young boy who once played football with his friends and excelled in his studies. In the months leading up to the tragic events, Nicholas's behavior became more erratic. He expressed contempt for his sister Giselle over a specific in-game choice, stating that her face would be mutilated further than necessary.
Walking Dead games, and for that her face will be mutilated further than necessary. I also recall a video by Living Echoes on YouTube, Best of Lee and Clementine Definitive Edition. It was a compilation, and he decided to kill Larry in front of Clementine, and then I later learned he decided to kill the St. John's in front of Clementine. I am the chosen one, chosen by Clementine. I am guided, as Christians are guided by Jesus Christ, and there will be no more killings of Larrys in front of Clementine, no more killings of St. John's in front of Clementine.
Despite these alarming signs, those around him were unaware of the depth of his inner turmoil. His family, friends, and community were blindsided by the horror he would soon unleash. Nicholas's descent into violence culminated in the early hours of September 13, 2024, when he used a shotgun to kill his mother, Juliana Falcon, and his two younger siblings, Kyle and Giselle, at their home in Luton. The community was left in shock, struggling to comprehend how the young man they once knew could commit such a heinous act. But the horror didn't end there. During the investigation, authorities uncovered that Nicholas had also planned a mass shooting at St. Joseph's Catholic Primary School, the very institution he had once attended. His plans were thwarted when he was apprehended by police before he could execute them. Nicholas's actions have left a community grappling with the loss of 3 innocent lives and the revelation of a young man's descent into darkness. His story serves as a chilling reminder of the potential dangers lurking behind closed doors and the importance of vigilance in recognizing and addressing signs of distress in those around us. In the early hours of September 13, 2024, the Prosper family's home in Luton became the scene of unimaginable horror. At approximately 5:30 a.m., neighbors reported hearing gunshots emanating from the flat on Wallad's Bank Drive. The tranquility of the morning was shattered as Juliana Falcon, aged 48, and her 2 children, 16-year-old Kyle and 13-year-old Giselle, were found lifeless, each victim succumbing to gunshot wounds to the head. The discovery was made when a concerned neighbor, alarmed by the disturbance, contacted the authorities. Upon arrival, law enforcement officers found the bodies of the 3 family members, each having suffered fatal gunshot wounds. The scene was one of devastation, with the victims' lives extinguished in a manner that left the community in shock. In the aftermath, the police launched an immediate investigation. Nicholas Prosper, the 19-year-old son and brother, was apprehended shortly after the murders. He was found in possession of a loaded shotgun and over 30 cartridges, which he had illegally acquired. The authorities also discovered that he had been plotting a shooting at his former primary school, St. Joseph's Catholic Primary School in Luton. His plans were thwarted when he was arrested before he could carry out the attack. The investigation revealed that Nicholas had been planning the attack for some time. He had acquired the shotgun and ammunition, preparing to execute his plans. However, his arrest prevented further tragedy. The community was left grappling with the loss of 3 innocent lives and the revelation of a young man's descent into violence. The case has raised significant concerns about the influence of violent online content on young individuals. Nicholas had been banned from a notorious gore website where viewers watch people die, due to his disturbing views on sexualizing minors and abusing dead bodies. This highlights the potential dangers of such content and the need for increased vigilance in monitoring and regulating online platforms. In the wake of the tragedy, the community has come together to mourn the loss of Juliana, Kyle, and Giselle. Tributes have poured in, with friends and family remembering them as kind, loving, and full of promise. The local schools have reviewed their security measures to ensure the safety of students and staff, reflecting the profound impact of this event on the community.
Murphy from Bedfordshire Police. Can I start by saying that our thoughts today are first and foremost with the victims in this case and their loved ones at what must be an unimaginably difficult time for them all. On Friday the 13th of September 2024, Juliana, Kyle and Giselle were brutally murdered in their home by someone who was intent on causing the maximum harm and distress to his own family and the wider community in Luton. During the course of our inquiries, investigators discovered an intention by the perpetrator to target a specific primary school in Luton. I understand the shock and horror that this news brings to parents, carers, school staff and the wider public. And I offer reassurance that our comprehensive inquiries demonstrate that this was a single perpetrator acting in isolation and who now faces a significant term of imprisonment. We are working closely with Luton Borough Council to provide support, assistance and guidance to schools and parents in the town, and we would encourage anyone who has concerns or questions about school security to get in touch with their school, who will provide further reassurance. We are extremely grateful to our officers who rapidly intervened and prevented the perpetrator from going through with his plan. And I would also like to thank the officers and staff who have worked tirelessly throughout the investigation to bring the perpetrator to justice at court today. Thank you.
Let's go to our correspondent Molly Malone, who's been monitoring this story. And, well, Molly, let's just remind people, we heard there from the police, but let's just remind people what happened, because as part of their investigation into the shootings, of his mother and siblings. Police found, as we heard there, Nicholas Prosper had other intentions as well.
Yeah, that's right. Just to remind people of the background to this case, it was back in September that 3 bodies were found at their flat, at their home in Luton. The bodies of Juliana Falconer, Carl Prosper, who was 16, and Giselle Prosper, who was 13. And it was today that their son and their brother, 19-year-old Nicholas Prosper, appeared at Luton Crown Court to confirm his name, his identity, and to plead guilty to the murder of his mother and his 2 younger siblings. And what we learnt today is that after murdering both of them, it was during the course of the police inquiries that he was stopped by police officers. A loaded shotgun was found hidden in bushes nearby, as were 30 cartridges, and police discovered that he had been plotting to attack a local school. And we heard there from Bedfordshire Police describing Nicholas Prosper as someone intent on causing maximum harm to the wider community in Luton, understanding, he said, the shock and the horror that this will bring to parents and to the wider public, offering the community, the local community, reassurance. They said that this was a single perpetrator, the police said, acting in isolation, encouraging anyone, they said, that has questions about school security to get in touch with the school, offering his thanks to officers for intervening in that way, for discovering his intentions during their inquiries into the investigation. Now, the Crown Prosecution Service have called Nicholas Prosper's actions a chilling act of violence, murdering, they said, his closest family members with a shotgun that he obtained without a licence and with, they said, a clear intent to kill. Now, Nicholas Prosper has been remanded into custody and is due to be sentenced back at Luton Crown Court on March the 5th.
Molly, thank you very much.
As the investigation continues, questions remain about the factors that led Nicholas to commit such a heinous act. Was he acting alone, or were there underlying issues that contributed to his actions? The answers may never be fully understood, but the tragedy serves as a stark reminder of the potential dangers that can exist within families and communities. But was Nicholas acting alone? Or had someone, or something, driven him to commit this unspeakable act? Nicholas Prosper's descent into violence was not an isolated incident, it was deeply intertwined with his online activities. His immersion in digital spaces that glorified harm and death played a significant role in shaping his actions. Nicholas was an active participant in online communities that celebrated violence and depravity. He frequented a notorious gore website where users shared and commented on videos depicting real deaths. His content, uploaded under a pseudonym, was so depraved that he was banned from the platform. Moderators cited his disturbing views on sexualizing minors and abusing dead bodies as reasons for his removal. In one particularly chilling video, recorded hours before the massacre, Nicholas threatened his 13-year-old sister, Giselle, over a disagreement in a video game. He stated, "On June 30th, my sister decided to make the incorrect choices on episode 1 of season 1 of the Walking Dead games, and for that her face will be mutilated further than necessary." This statement not only revealed his capacity for violence but also his inability to distinguish between virtual scenarios and real-life consequences. Nicholas's online behavior extended beyond gaming disputes. He engaged in discussions that trivialized serious issues, such as child sexual abuse, suggesting that such topics were blamed for virtually every mental disorder and issue. This dismissive attitude towards critical subjects further underscores his distorted worldview. The depth of Nicholas's online engagement was so profound that some neighbors were unaware of his existence outside the digital realm. His immersion in these virtual spaces isolated him from the physical world, exacerbating his detachment from reality. Could this online obsession have been the catalyst for the destruction of his own family? The evidence suggests a disturbing correlation between his digital activities and his violent actions. The desensitization to violence and the reinforcement of harmful ideologies within these online communities may have played a pivotal role in his decision to commit such atrocities. Psychologists and criminologists have long studied the impact of violent online content on individuals, particularly adolescents. Exposure to such material can desensitize individuals to real-world violence, distort their perceptions of social norms, and, in extreme cases, act as a catalyst for violent behavior. Nicholas's case exemplifies the potential dangers of unregulated online spaces and the profound effect they can have on susceptible individuals. In the wake of this tragedy, there is a pressing need to address the influence of violent online content. Regulatory bodies and tech companies must collaborate to implement stricter controls and monitoring to prevent the spread of harmful material. Additionally, there is a critical need for education and awareness programs that equip individuals, especially young people, with the tools to navigate the digital world responsibly and safely. As the trial unfolded, a deeper look into Nicholas's troubled mind was revealed. But was he a product of his own twisted nature? Or was there something more? A failure in society, in the system, in his upbringing? Nicholas Prosper pleaded guilty to 3 counts of murder, along with charges of possession of a knife in a public place, purchasing or acquiring a shotgun without a certificate, and possession of a shotgun with intent to endanger life. The court proceedings were closely followed, with the community seeking answers to the questions that had arisen in the wake of the tragedy. The Prosper family's lives were taken far too soon. And the impact of their loss still echoes throughout the community of Luton. In the days following the tragedy, memorials were held to honor the lives of Juliana, Kyle, and Giselle. A church service was conducted, bringing together family, friends, and community members to pay their respects and share in their grief. During the service, heartfelt tributes were paid, with speakers recalling the warmth and kindness of the Prosper family. The local community has rallied together, offering support to the surviving family members and friends, and providing a sense of solidarity during this challenging time. The impact of this tragedy has extended beyond the immediate family and friends. Schools in the area, including Leah Manor High School, where Giselle was a student, have been deeply affected. The head teacher expressed profound shock and sorrow, describing Giselle as a beautiful soul and a model pupil. The school has implemented support measures for students and staff, recognizing the need for collective healing. But will the true reason behind their deaths ever be fully understood? And what can we learn from this tragedy to prevent another like it from happening again? The case of the Prosper family highlights the critical need for early intervention and support for individuals exhibiting signs of distress or violent tendencies. It underscores the importance of community awareness and the role of mental health services in identifying and addressing potential threats. Preventative measures, such as mental health education, accessible counseling services, and community engagement, are essential in mitigating the risk of such tragedies. If you or someone you know is struggling with violent thoughts or mental health issues, please seek help. No one should face these battles alone. We send our love and condolences to the father, friends, and families of the victims who have to cope with this trauma. May God comfort you in these difficult times. Thanks for watching to the end. Subscribe to Mind-Blowing True Crimes for more chilling true crime stories. Don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments below. See you in the next video.